all our guests, special guests. Also want to thank the KBCs, the ambassadors, our excellencies, the excellencies, MDs, captains of industries that are here seated. I want to quickly, before we play the profile of our celebrants, I want to quickly introduce those that will be moderating, or the moderator, and at the same time, the panelists. Hello? Okay. The moderator of this program today is going to be joining us. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. We have the moderator of this event today. Her name is Omotola Adeyoju Ilesam, PhD, a senior research fellow and head division of international organization in the Department of Research and Studies of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Lagos, Nigeria. She holds a doctorate degree in political science from Babcock University, Ogun State, MSc in political science, master's degree in international law and diplomacy, a BSc in political science, all from the University of Lagos, Akoka. Her research is focused on the women, peace, security agenda, violence against women, and the gender dimensions of foreign policy and international relations. Dr. Ilesami is a specialist on women peace building processes, gender and security sector reforms, peace conflict studies. She also teaches courses in areas of foreign policy analysis, diplomacy. She is an alumni of Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Accra, Ghana, and has published widely in local and foreign journals and books. Join me as we welcome Omotola Adeyoju Ilesami, PhD. Hand of applause. The panelists, here we have Her Excellency Ambassador Maria Oyeyinka Laoshi. She'll be joining us. Is she here? Please. Thank you so much for coming, Ambassador Laoshi. The next is joining us all the way from the United States of America, virtually, Ambassador Gladys Modukbe Quest Adebi. Please, a hand of applause. She'll be joining us online all the way from the United States of America. The next I have here is Dr. Abiola Salami. Please, Dr. Abiola Salami, if you're here, please join us. Thank you very much for joining us. And the next, okay. Please, we need the profile of the honoraries. And the next we're going to call here, I'll say the first person here is no other person but Ambassador Adenike Okoga.
school Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Ambassador Florentina Abeliger.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. The next, we have Ambassador Dr. Tukumbo. Sorry for that. I want to call on the next honorary, the former ambassador of Nigeria to the Netherlands, in person of Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu. This is our profile.
London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in 1979. She worked in private practice in this capacity for 9 years, then followed a career break, which involved significant leadership and administrative positions, as well as public policy analysis and research. Specifically, she was nominated member of the Constituent Assembly 1988 to 1989. Where she served as vice chairman of the Assembly's Committee 4 that prepared the philosophical foundations of the new constitution, namely the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy. Thereafter, until late 1991, She played various roles in the emerging politics of the Third Republic, and in April 1992, she co-founded the Obafemi Awolowo Foundation, a non-profit, non-partisan research organization set up in memory of our father, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and dedicated to generating ideas for national development. She is the foundation's executive director. She was appointed member of the International Committee of the Council on Foundations, an umbrella body of foundations based in Washington, D.C. in 1995. She was appointed ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the Netherlands and served in this capacity from January 2000 to July 2003. She subsequently chose to return to her profession as an occupational health physician and has continued her work as executive director at the Obafemi Awolowo Foundation. She was appointed chair of the board of management of Lagos University Teaching Hospital, E.G. Araba, in which capacity she served from April 2013 to June 2015. She was one of the 15 delegates that represented the Southwest Zone at the 2014 National Constitutional Conference. Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosunu is the fifth and last child of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, and Yeye Oodua, HID, Awolowo, Commander of the Order of Niger, CON. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo.
Thank you very much. And the next we have Excellency Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa, former High Commissioner of Nigeria to Cameroon.
Who's the next person?
What is happening, please?
Profile of Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa. Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa is currently the special advisor of the special envoy of the Lake Chad Basin Commission to Chad. She assists the special envoy in its mandate of supporting peaceful transition in Chad from 2017 to 2021. Prior to this, Ambassador Hadiza worked as a career diplomat in the Nigerian Foreign Service for 35 years, reaching the peak of her career as the first female High Commissioner of Nigeria to Cameroon. During her career in the Nigerian Foreign Service, she served in the United Kingdom, Zimbabwe, South Africa, United States, and Cameroon. The highlights of her diplomatic career have been the protection of Nigeria's national interests abroad and working bilaterally and multilaterally with governments and international institutions to promote Pan-African and global agendas. Hadiza Mustafa graduated from Bayero University, Kano, and obtained an MSc in Strategic Studies from the University of Ibadan. She is a fellow of the War College, now National Defense College, Nigeria. She attended the Senior Executive Education on National and International Security of the John F. Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University, United States. Ambassador Hadiza is a recipient of several honors, including the Royal Victoria Medal, RVM, Silver category by Her Royal Majesty, the Queen of England and Wales, London, 1989, and Cameroon's highest national honor and Grand Commander of Valor, 2016, for the promotion of diplomacy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the good profile. I want to really appreciate them for coming. And I see that you are aging gracefully. And I pray that God will continue to protect you all. I want to quickly call on the host. We describe as purpose-driven social entrepreneur. I'm a professor of political economy. And another person, the CEO and the founder of CVL, Center of Value Leadership.
So, Pat, good to you. The round of applause for Paul.
Well, thank you very much, Tola. Your Excellencies, Royal Highnesses, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege and honor for me to see this particular Leader Without Title tribute colloquium take place. I'm a couple of thousand miles away at this time, but I am wholly and completely present. It is traditional that I make these opening remarks to remind us of why we have this series. We have the series first and foremost because our country desperately needs role models. Women, role models, even more so the case. This is, I guess, it's 61st or second time that we have gathered to do this in 15 years. And we have had the great privilege and honor to honor some extraordinary people during the years. On account of that in particular, one of our great honorees, who I am privileged to be a neighbor to, we have just lost, Mr. Akintola Williams. I'll therefore urge that we rise for 1 minute, pay tribute to the memory of Mr. Akintola Williams and all the past honorees who have run their earthly course, including, of course, the very, very many distinguished people like Professor Elebute, Deacon Gamaliel Onosode, and other past honorees. Let us pause for 1 minute, please, and honor their memory. If we may rise as we do so. May the soul of Mr. Williams and the souls of all our past honorees, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. While on the subject of outstanding honorees who have crossed to the other side of our call, Mr. Akintola Williams being an accountant, it is important also to note that one of our honorees who has also gone to be with the Lord was the first woman accountant that we had in this country, Mrs. Toyin Olakunrin. We join her and all the others in paying tribute to women of example. The particular focus on women in diplomacy just continues a track that we started, recognizing that young women need to be told that they were trailblazers who showed that glass ceilings can not only be broken, they can be shattered. In the area of diplomacy, we have the great good fortune of having the honorees of today. Our hope, our expectation is that these honorees will stimulate something in young people to make them aspire. And this is more so the case as we look at what it is that really makes for human progress. Well, the biggest challenge our country has is a challenge of leadership. Central to the role that leaders play is that they set the tone of culture, and culture shapes human progress. Leaders are therefore so critical to human progress that we cannot but focus on them. Also very important, and I will close with this so my remarks are not too long. We talk about living in the age of the aristocracy of talent. The British gentleman, Adrian Woolrich, in that nice book, talks about the aristocracy of talent and how meritocracy shaped the modern world. I think that if we look at the three honorees today, nobody will have any doubt that they were people of merit that our country desperately needs to make meritocracy central to the track of achievement. We know that we can find people of merit anywhere and everywhere in Nigeria if we focus on trying to find people who have done the right things, who have combined grit and genius to make our world a better place. So I thank you all so much for gathering to honor these people deserving of honor. And to the honorees, I want to extend very special thanks for giving us lives worthy of holding up as example. Thank you all so very much. And I hope that we have a very impactful conversation with the panel. I trust that Dr. Elisomi will make sure that that happens. We are very thankful for her contributions. Thank you all so very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. I quickly want us to go into the colloquium, and I want the moderator, Omotola Adeyoju, Elesa, PhD, to take charge at this point. Thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Tola. I think we're namesakes. I'm happy and super excited to welcome you to this event, to this colloquium and panel session. And I'm also super excited at the caliber of panelists that we have here today, and of course our honorees. These are men and women that have distinguished themselves in their field. And I feel elated as a woman, actually, to be amongst these wonderful women. Please, a round of applause for them again. As I'm sure we all know that diplomacy is a prestigious profession. Indeed, some analysts have said it's highly elitist in nature. However, another core feature of this profession is the fact that it's highly male dominated. Since the times and the periods where countries have started sending representatives to other nations, men have dominated this profession. However, over the years, women have been able to break into this profession. And they have not only, like our convener said, they have not only achieved successes for themselves, they've been able to break that glass ceiling and shatter it to shreds. Examples, of course, are women that we're honoring here. And so this morning, the purpose of this panel discussion is to interrogate issues around women in diplomacy. What are the issues? I know it's usually men, but we want to hear from these wonderful women. Are there challenges? We know that women are underrepresented there. So what are the issues? What are the benefits of having more women as diplomats, as ambassadors for our nation? So we are here to hear this, and we look forward to a very robust and engaging discussion this morning. And without wasting our time, I'd like to call on, we have 3 panelists. I don't know if Ambassador Chris Adebi is online. Okay, that's good. Particular order, I'd like to ask firstly, one of our panelists here, Ambassador Maria Oyeyinka Laoshe. Thank you, Your Excellency. Our first question will be, what is the motivation behind building or pursuing a career in diplomacy? Particularly at the time, your younger years, where women were kind of confined to those kind of soft professions, teaching, not as nurses, as secretaries, but you decided to pursue a career in a male-dominated terrain. We'd like to hear from you. And what are the lessons also to younger women that would also want to go into the career? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And first of all, let me say thank you to the organizers of this colloquium, and also to Center for Value Leadership. I'm very happy to be here. And now let me go straight to answer the question. As a very young girl, I took interest in languages, and I used to carry any book at all that I saw, and I would translate. It was at first Latin, but then we stopped learning Latin, and it became French. And the only thing that occurred to me was that the only place I can use my French is in the foreign affairs, which we used to call the Ministry of External Affairs. So I went ahead to read French, and I actually didn't see many people that were there. I didn't see many women, so I couldn't say that I wanted to follow any woman, but I just knew I liked French, and French was the language of diplomacy then. So the only place I thought I could use it was in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I was really happy to have been admitted there.
We'd like to go on to Ambassador Modupe Chris Adebi. Also, as a young, can you hear me, ma?
Very faint, please.
Let's know if you can. Can you unmute your microphone? Okay, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
She can't hear us. Okay, she can hear us. Okay, so Your Excellency, as a young female diplomat rising from the entry level at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what were your challenges? What was your experience in terms of, balancing work and family, your relationship with your male colleagues? We just want to have an idea of how it was for you at that time, and what lessons the younger women, upcoming diplomats can learn from you.
Thank you. Is that for me? Thank you very much for the question, and thank you for having me.
Maybe while that is being sorted out, we'll just move on to the third. Your Excellency, ma, we'll just come back to you while they sort out the issues, the technical issues with your audio. We can't hear you. So that will be sorted out. And so, I would also like to speak to our Yorubas will say Okonlawon. He's the only male, and a he for she on our pan. A round of applause for him, please. Sir, we hear time and time again that it's a man's world. And so my question this morning is it actually a man's world? And if it is, so how can a woman achieve her optimum as a woman in this man's world?
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to say a big thank you to Professor Patrick and CBL for giving me the opportunity to meet this amazing amazing women. And please help me put your hands together for them. And I'm saying that because the easiest way to get my attention, just say women in, you can put whatever else, just say women in. And I'm glad that this is happening. And to answer the question, I wrote a book some years ago. The title of the book is Who Says It's a Man's World? And some women read the book and they were sending us emails to thank us for the book. And you know, my name is Abiola. And if you understand Yoruba, Abiola is unisex. So when they send us a mail, they will say, my dear sister. Thank you, for the work that you are doing. Until opportunities like this, when I show up and then my name is called and people see that I'm male. So is it a man's world? I would say no, because it's a mindset. And there are many times that even for us in this room, we've had conversations with a lady, and then we said, it's a man's world. And as we continue to say that, we continue to sow certain seeds in the minds of women that will now incapacitate them, that may, while the lady may want to dream big and may want to equip ourselves to deliver excellence, but the moment she continues to think about that phrase, it's a man's world, it continues to cripple her capacity and her interest. So people who say it's a man's world, it's because they don't realize how powerful women are. It's because they've not been in circles celebrating women who have achieved greatness. It is because they don't understand that the best way to advance our continent is to make sure that every side is delivering excellence. I personally believe that a peak performing woman is a catalyst for economic growth. So if you want growth in your family, in your organization, in your country, in your continent, wherever you are, make sure that you don't promote that statement, and not just with what we say, but with what we consistently do as well. And to round off, I need to recognize a woman that I always admire for the excellence that she has done. Please help me recognize Olorionike Kwakwa. So the more we put a spotlight on women who are delivering excellence, the more we inspire other women coming behind them to see that it is possible, it is doable. When we don't have examples, we think it's probably not doable. So please, every one of us, anytime you hear anybody, male or female, say it's a man's world, you shut down that statement immediately and say it is not a man's world, it is not even a woman's world, it is our world. And every one of us will deliver excellence.
Thank you, Dr. Abiola. The brief part of that question is yet to be answered. How can a woman reach her optimum in her life, her career, family, and all that?
Fantastic, great question. And let me take it from the profiles I've read this morning. I've read the profiles of the three women we are celebrating today. I read the profile of someone who trained as a medical doctor, and there's an opportunity that came for her to go on and represent her country. And then she continued to develop herself to make sure that she delivers a great work where she is. And one of the things she did was she organized a Nigerian week fashion show that showed the culture, of the country. So what I would take from that is for the woman to continue to develop herself, for the woman to continue to learn. One of my favorite quotes says the illiterate of the 21st century won't be about people that can neither read nor write, but people that cannot learn, which is acquire new information, relearn, which is information you have before you review it, and then unlearn, which is the information you have before, but you don't need for this level, take it out of your system. So developing yourself, critical. The other one is the woman needs to believe in herself. And I take it from the profile of the former ambassador to Cameroon, Madam Adiza, that she wanted to study medicine. She knew she had the capacity to study medicine. But she looked at what was going on around her. People talking about colonialism. I mean, we just recovered from colonialism like a decade plus before that period. And then she thought that, if these colonial people can be doing this thing for us, we, by ourselves, we should be able to make a change. So she believed in herself Went ahead to study political science and made a remarkable difference in the work that she's doing. So one, we said the woman should develop herself. Two, we said the woman should believe in herself. And then three, she started working in Voice of Nigeria as a journalist. And then an opportunity came to train people by the federal government. Again, opportunity came to train people, not men alone, not women alone. Because that is another thing. When an opportunity comes as a woman, do you by yourself kill your potential? Do you by yourself, it's not for me? Because one of the mindsets women have can stop them from delivering excellence is when she thinks she's too strong, to do something great, or when she thinks she's too old to do something great, or too old.
A round of applause for him once again. So for young women here, we've learned it from the professional. Develop yourself, believe in yourself, and when the opportunity comes, seize it. Thank you so much. I don't know if Ambassador Modupe Quest is she still online? Our technical team, is she there? Can you hear us, ma?
I can hear you saying,
I think it's the audio. We can't hear.
can you hear me?
Oh, okay. So that's.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's not loud enough. Is there anything that can be done about that at technical team? Okay. Okay, remove the video. Okay, we're told you should try removing the video. Okay. So because of our time, and because if she's speaking now, we can't hear, I don't think we're achieving anything. Okay, so we'll just go straight to Ambassador Laoshe here. Thank you, Your Excellency. My question is, I had mentioned in my opening that women are underrepresented in diplomacy and foreign service, foreign policy design and implementation and all that. So do you believe there are barriers to having more women in diplomacy? And also even within the ranks, within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs itself, are there barriers for women? Are there limitations for women from rising, say, from the entry level to the peak of their career as ambassadors? If there are limitations and challenges, what are they? And how can younger women, because the idea behind this colloquium is for younger women to get inspiration from women that have done so well for themselves. So how can younger women overcome these challenges and limitations, either real or perceived anyway, or for them in the ministry? Thank you, ma'am.
There. One of the people I met, my very senior colleague here, who was like a sister to me, and she always looked out for me. And I didn't see any discrimination because I saw them there, and they were all doing well, and we all read French. I know the discrimination we suffered was on the basis of the cadre we came in with. We did not go into the diplomatic cadre. We went into the translator interpreters cadre. But eventually everything was regularized. I didn't see any discrimination. In fact, I want to say that my being a woman helped me. Um, when I got my ambassadorial appointment, for instance, I was disadvantaged on the basis of state of origin. I come from Ogun State. But when they listed out the names of the those they were going to appoint as ambassadors, they were all men. And they just felt they needed to add some women. And I happened to be the most senior woman in the ministry then. And I had only 3 more years to go. And people used to look at me and say, forget it, you are not making it. But all of a sudden, the fact that I was a woman favored me. And they decided to take 3 women, I from the West, somebody from the East, and somebody from the North. So that what I want to say is being a woman really actually helped me, because I would have left the ministry without getting to the summit. Now, let me say this, that the UN quite realized the fact that women are being discriminated against. It's not only in Africa, it's all over. It's a cultural thing. Women are just considered to be weaker or not to be as competent, or, for one reason or the other. They would like to put you behind. Sometimes some people don't want to work with you because you are a woman. Some even don't want to shake hands with you. Some don't want to walk under you. Some don't want to walk on top of you. If I can, if I can give an example of my very senior colleague here, it was a rumor I heard about her, that there was another officer that she was trying to tell to do something, and the officer was being funny. So, she tried to assert herself. I put her foot down. And the officer said, I have a woman like you at home. And she said, you have, the woman you have is my house girl, not me. The way she rose up to it, it really encouraged me that, you need to know how to answer people. And actually, these ones that I met, all of them, Her Excellency here, Ambassador Wadibia Ayawu, who was there last week, Ambassador Yombo Oyeshola, Ambassador Clara Omo Ovoraye, late Ambassador Nick, Joke. They all did very well. In fact, Ambassador Joke was the first woman that we saw the first, even in the ministry, to get ambassadorial at level 14. So I always felt that women had an advantage here. So when I started getting disadvantaged, well, it surprised me, but somehow. The UN itself knew this. That's why they had this gender parity program, which tried to help women. And all over the world, I have noticed, even in Italy, today we have Giorgia Meloni as the prime minister. During the course of my career, I realized that whenever they're talking about abuse, domestic abuse, I thought it was only in Africa. But in Italy, I heard that whenever a man kills his wife, they would just kill the case and say it's a domestic issue, it's a family affair. I was shocked because I thought that was only happening in Africa. And today we have a woman as the prime minister of that country. What I'm trying to say is that women are now, they're now young women really should look up and never look down. And I know that Nigerian young women don't look down. They're all over. I think they should be encouraged, because more or less, they will always look out for them. The UN, for instance, will look out for a woman to do something, because they feel there are a lot of men already, and they just want to let the whole world see that we're not discriminating against women. So they will look out for women. Women these days are at an advantage. No matter what you suffer within, women have come to be at an advantage.
Men should look up and not look down. A round of applause for her again. Your Excellency, Ma, I won't let you go. I still have a question. You know, some of these things people hear about women in diplomacy is the fact that, oh, they don't have families, they travel a lot, they're never around. You know, there's so much stereotypes and all kind of things we hear. So how was it for you as a woman, and I excelled, of course, in her career, balancing your family and work, and you're making sure that everything is okay and other issues? How was it for you? And how were you able to achieve success in that area? Thank you, ma'am.
Really, you should not be asking me that question. It would have been good to ask Ambassador Quiz that question, because I didn't have family issues. I was most of the time on my own, so I was able to face my career fully. And we should be asking those who had large families. You know, they were the ones that, and they really, they handled it very well, because they never had problems. In fact, the problems that we used to hear of family were male diplomats. I don't remember that there was any scandal about female diplomats and their husband. It was always men. So the women handled it very well.
Thank you very much. That question. Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Actually, that question.
So, would you pay for studying, but unfortunately, you're unable to. Can you hear me now?
A minute. Let's
Yes. We have a microphone somewhere to. I wish that was one of the green one. I'm very eager to say one thing with the keep on working on that. Hopefully, it's sorted out.
So let us talk now. So let's ask the question.
Ask the question.
Have you dropped your voice?
And speak.
Yeah, I've dropped it for me.
But
She needs to ask the question.
let us speak. I'm sure that you can hear him. Thank you very much.
I like sorted out. She just have to-
Thank you. Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay. Well, that's beautiful. I hope you are following that out. Okay. Thank you, Harry. Harry, please continue. The next question is of course for Dr. Abiola Salami. Salami, I would like to. And my passionate about issues of women, those that take a feather, and women empowerment. How can women break out of their limitations? I know you've mentioned some of those issues, but what if you dig more into that? Because most of the time, women internalize so-called stereotypes and limitations, and it holds us back. And so how can women break out of these limitations and barriers to reach the career? Thank you.
Great question. You know, there's this statement we make, say what a man can do. What a man can do. Now, some people have some limited versions of that, which I will not say here. And that statement is true. But unfortunately for the woman, she can internalize some feedback she's received more than a man could have. If a man comes here now and he did not make a good presentation, maybe his tenses were wrong or he was fidgeting here, and then When it's done, you just leave this place. Himself and his friends, they will maybe make fun of him. They may end up somewhere to drink and then just chat it away, and then they'll forget about it. But if a woman tries that, I'm sorry, if that happens to a woman, she will most likely never step out to make a statement again in public. Is that correct, women? Okay, so I'm having yes, I'm having no. So let us look at the no part of it, which is when you've attempted something and then you didn't get it right, there's a likelihood that you may be discouraged, and then the kind of feedback that you receive as well from people. So one of the things that women can continue to do, sorry. One of the things a woman can continue to do is one, find yourself around the right people, the right network, because none of us is smart. Every one of us, we are smart as the influences we yield ourselves to. And there are people around us influencing our thoughts and our behaviors. So, so it's important to find yourself around the right network. Find yourself credible mentors as well. In fact, I don't know why we don't have this whole field with young women, to be in a place to be inspired by the incredible work, the amazing women we have here have done. So the things you consistently hear get into your mind and it turns to your action. So find yourself credible mentors at the right network to help you.
I think what my taking from that background to make complete mental fitness. I don't know why. I mean, this is a particular to have with mentorship. For the men, they have to be point club. They think to mentor more if they are easily younger boys. But for women, it's still very maybe one of our countries after that person when they get to their own time. There are issues with mentorship. We find it hard to get mentors for ourselves, unlike the way the men. And I think it's the major issue why younger women are not being talented. We should be assisting their different talent. Thank you very much. I wanted to talk to you. These people don't have access to
Okay.
My next question is for Dr. Maria Alonso. My before female Nigerian ambassador and permanent representative to Australia who working on the UN organization in Vienna. You want to have an idea of Thank you. First of all, I had a training by the grace of God. Quite early in my career, somehow I read in the UN magazine, and they allowed me, the ministry, allowed me to continue in that line. That's why I always say that actually I'm one of the most fortunate in the foreign. No matter how anybody does it, I always feel fortunate. Because not many people could go in the same line. So I was there and it just came, like naturally she had to go to international affairs department, and if she has to be an ambassador, it has to be a UN mission. And so there was a UN I had a feeling of the ambulance, and I wouldn't allow them to walk over me, so I was always asserting myself.
To assert myself so much because I had the authority. I had the authority. Maybe that's one mistake that women make. We try to be very assertive when we're in high position, not knowing that we're backed by authority. Because all I needed to do was just to write it and sign it, and that's it. The minister will call me first to say, Ambassador Laoshe, what happened? And he will listen to me, even though the system is quite rotten in Nigeria. But they will still listen to you, especially when they know challenges are hard, experience I have had, and with the help of God, I overcame it. Eventually, ambassador, and they had to follow me. They like I had money. Just for her.
Mrs. Salami, as we round up and we move into questions and answers, to ask you, Doctor, as an expert on emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence play in the life of a woman, what might be in our world?
Beings, we are all emotional beings. But for the woman, of her makeup, for her to be more emotional in her view of life and in her engagement, comes first. Ambassador said something earlier about being too assertive. You know, there are times that as a woman you want to overcompensate, you know, for a situation. You know, yes, they say it's a man's world, which we have all debunked today. You know, and then you've perhaps gone through some experience, and then but now that you are in leadership, you want to show all of them, you know, that whatever they've done for a woman before, that it's time for them to reap the consequences, and then we may overcompensate, you know. So emotional intelligence helps the woman to appropriately choose her responses. And that's the big thing with emotional intelligence, to help us to choose what we say and what we do, even when we are under pressure, such that our emotions will help us to positively achieve our goal, and it won't work against us. That you will react in some way, they'll say, you know, she's just a woman, that's why. Or, oh, it's because she's a woman, that's why. You know, when the woman is emotionally intelligent, she can be firm and friendly at the same time, which is what assertiveness really is. She won't be overtly aggressive, you know, she won't be passive as well. Passiveness is you're not really dealing with the issue, you're leaving it to them because they say it's a man's world. Aggressiveness is that I need to let you know that a woman is here now and everybody bow to me. Assertiveness is you can balance friendliness and firmness, and then you can bring out, if you need to be more firm, you push that out. If you need to be more friendly, we'll push that out. It's just having that skill to know the right measure to dispense each one. So emotional intelligence is powerful for any woman that wants to continue to deliver in the work that they do.
Round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much. So emotional intelligence is very key for us as women to deliver.
Okay.
So we're going to roll down our discussion. Zones in the house. Looking up to them. We want to hear your experiences. Have you been able to shatter that glass ceiling? Did you break your experiences?
Can I say something?
Represented Nigeria abroad as ambassadors, as female diplomats. And what would be your advice to the younger generation of women either listening or watching?
Can I get something more, please?
Can we get
Ambassador Quist, can I say something?
Great, we're happy. Okay, Ma, feel free to comment in any way and intervene. I'm sure you heard all our discussions in whichever comments you want to make.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. It's a pity we have a problem with the device. I would want to go first to the challenges. I know that my senior colleague, Ambassador Laushi, obviously has a different experience from mine. My challenge started from home when I chose to join the foreign ministry. My father felt I would never have a stable marriage, so he did not want me to go into the foreign service. He had to take my mother convincing him for me to get into the foreign service. On getting the foreign service again, the policies were discriminatory then against the women. Because number one, if you had to go on posting, you had to get a letter from your husband allowing you to go on your foreign posting. And I mean, I didn't like that. And number two, when you are post, you found out that even your colleagues were earning more than you, because then they were not paying you your allowances as per guide. They had all the allowances, and at the end of the day, it did not. It's kind of lowered the morale of officers then. And what's the third one? I know there are 3 policies, but thank God for Ambassador Gidizata. When she came into the service as a PAMSEC, she removed all the discriminating policies. And one thing I found from the challenge was it enabled us to bond with our senior colleagues, because we all had the same issues, the same issues then. And that is on the part of the challenges one faced. Then another challenge that I listened to the gentleman talking about emotional intelligence. Yes, while I was ambassador to Sierra Leone, I found out that my residence was abandoned because there was no money to renovate it, and then we had to go and hoist our flag in like an estate, and that I found very offensive, because Nigeria spent a lot of money and blood in Sierra Leone, and I believe we were not properly positioned. So getting that, I did not have money from the government because there was no money. I had to get the corporate Nigerians and Nigerians together with me. And within a month, we fixed the property. And that is the woman in me, because we are managers. We manage our homes. I was able to do that. I was able to prudently manage the funds I have in my mission to get a brand new representational car for the ambassador, because it wasn't bad. So those are my thoughts for now. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for her, please. I'm happy we can hear you.
I'm happy to. Thank you.
To ask, while reading about you, I found out that you were chief of protocol.
Yes.
7 states.
Yes.
Tell us what your experience is like.
Thank you very much. What I would want to advise upcoming diplomats to do is, number one, you have to be very hardworking. You have to be very sure of yourself. You have to know your onions, because if you don't, people will walk all over you. And then you have to be resilient. And then look for a mentor. Because fortunately, I have a mentor in the audience now, Ambassador Conga. She was one of the people I mentored me in the service. And of course, Ambassador Maria Laushi, she's there too. Because I will tell you that working with 4 heads of states in the protocol department is not very easy. People are going to complain about, people are going to say a lot of things. You have to earn the respect of your principals. You have to be very firm, and you must know that you're a woman of integrity. So that I will tell you an instance, the FCT minister then, I won't mention the name, there was this special passage for only governors. He felt, because he was the minister of FCT, they were supposed to give me special preference. I was called to the chief of staff's office to come and defend why I said he could not use it, because he was just like any other ministers. I did, because I had been in protocol since Lagos. We did not give the Lagos state governor special preference over the other governors. And I educated them and told them that you cannot tell me that you are the landlord of the president. I mean, everybody's jurisdiction kind of stops in a place, in protocol, where you have the capital. So those are the kind of things I'm talking about. And thank God, I had the confidence of my bosses. The most difficult time I had with Bila was probably during the Obasanjo, because he worked us so hard. At times you leave the office at 12 midnight, and actually resume again at 6 o'clock, because he was having a breakfast meeting. So those are the times I would say I found challenging. And again, we're talking about how do you manage your home with such busy schedules. I would say number one, you have to be very organized. Number two, you must have a partner from day one that understands your job, your passion, and is willing to support you. If you don't, you will not make a success of your career and your home. And I thank God I've been able to manage that eventually.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you.
A round of applause for her, please. So because of our time, we want to broaden this discussion, of course, by bringing in our honorees, that they want to receive the honor here today. We want to hear your experience briefly, 5 minutes for each person. What was your experience like representing Nigeria as Nigeria's ambassador outside the country? And most importantly, what's the advice you have for younger women? I'd like to start with Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa. Just 5 minutes, please. Can we have a microphone for her, please? Another microphone, please. Oh, it's just.
Thank you very much, moderator, and thank you, the Center for Values and Leadership, and especially to Professor Pat Utomi for this recognition. I also thank the management and all the staff for putting this together. In case I forget later on, I also want to thank my friends and family that are here. I really thank you for the support. So many good points have been made about gender issues and challenges that females face, not only in government. I think it's good to really say it's not only in Ministry of Foreign Affairs and it's not only in Nigeria. I think it's a universal issue.
different countries have found different ways to deal with it. Different policies, like my sister, Ambassador Lausha has said, the United Nations, even the African Union, we have many ways to deal with it. One of it is the quota system. I have two points. I don't want to go into, I know you ask us for our experience. I think a lot of the challenges have been put forward. I want to talk about, to continue from where, and by the way, if there's anybody who is entitled to he for she, I think our excellent gentleman, and I found out that he's also a motivational speaker, really qualifies to be given that. And I want to take my point from there. What can we do? Not only as women, but as a society, as government, as private sector, as every people of conscience should do. First, I think that we should look at the society. He talked about if we are building a society that is a society of excellence, an equitable society, it shouldn't matter. What should matter really is who can deliver better life for our people. So I think that's a beginning. That's a very good beginning to look at that. And then I want to also address we as women. I think that we have been taking a strategy that I think is probably not a winning strategy. And why do I say that? It is not a winning strategy for women, for all of us women, and especially, and this is for everywhere, because I have seen people trying to do gender parity from both national and multilateral organizations and so on, and even in the West. It does not help for women to think that we should lock ourselves in rooms and complain from morning till evening. You know, so that's why I think building a smart partnership with men is very important. I know one day I was in a conference of women leaders, and I said, I looked around and there were CEOs, and the whole room, there was only 2 men. And you're trying to change mindset, and you're trying to change policy. And all of us women here know that women are not in the policy tables. They're not in the boardrooms. So you have to have partnership, very, very important partnership with men. Because as we always say, we are women, we are the mothers of even our husbands. But the fathers are also the fathers of the girls. They also pay school fees for their girls to get good degree and to come and have good jobs. And so if there is a man in the ministry doing all of these things that we complain about how women are not given opportunity, you need for women to get men like that to change their mindset. And in order to be brief, how do we change mindset? How do we change the narrative as women? I think those are things that we really have to look at. What can we do as women ourselves? I think we have spent so much time as women complaining about what they did. So I think that as women ourselves, we must leave good legacies. Now it is very easy. You can find in all professions and in all, even in the North where I come from, you can find women of substantial qualification to fill any field of work. So it is up to us women, when we get these positions, for us to excel in those positions. You go to schools now, you'll be surprised to find that from position 1 to 10, it's taken by women, by young girls. So for me, I think that the conversation should now tilt for us women to look inwards and for us to partner with men of conscience, I call it, for us to look at our societies. In terms of challenge, I think you spoke about emotional intelligence and the women should balance being aggressive with this. I want to tell a small story, and I apologize. My daughters here, they may have heard this story many times. When I was serving in Cameroon we have over 5 million Nigerians. And I would say about 88% of them are from the southeast of Nigeria. And so one day I was invited as the High Commissioner, and I was the guest of honor. And you know, the Igbos, I don't know how many Igbos are in the audience, you know that there is this kola nut breaking tradition. And so while I was sitting in the hall, there was a lot of commotion at the back, and the event was not started. So I called one of my officers and said, go and find out what is going on. It turned out that because I was a woman, and in Igbo culture, I couldn't, no matter who I was, High Commissioner or not, in Igbo culture, I was not allowed to break the collar. So half of the audience there was saying, well, but she's our guest of honor, she's our High Commissioner, and she's doing very well for the Nigerian community. We must break that rule and allow her to break the collar. So I quickly asked for the microphone, and then I said, ladies and gentlemen, you know we are Africans and we respect our elders. I have bequeathed my right and my status to our elder brother here, who was the eldest person there, and I think one of the patrons, to please perform the breaking of the collar and by the grace of God and in the interest of our country and so on and so forth, and God bless Nigeria. Please, elder so and so, help us to break this collar, because we have young people here who have to learn our cultures. And in Igbo culture, even though I know I'm the High Commissioner, just like Ambassador, and I know that I'm the one representing the president, but in our culture, in our Igbo culture, I was not supposed to break this collar. And the whole hall broke into dance and this thing. And, and if you like, the problem solved. So I think that women have come a very, very long way. Women in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have come a very long way. My field of experience and much of the work I have done is in peace and security. And as you have seen in my CV, I also went to a military school. So that has never been an issue for me. Just like I think you were saying, believe in yourself and put the work. You have to put the work. In the National War College at then, which is now Defense College, they give you 3 bedrooms. And they do not care whether you're a woman or not. But when I went there, I was able to negotiate, not because I was a woman. I was able to negotiate to say I was the first to step into the house, so I should take the master bedroom. And the master bedroom was that it had its own private toilet. And as far as they were concerned, they didn't see that I was a lady. If I didn't say anything, I was going to be like, and I love the military, because in the military, they do not care about your gender. And I think that we as women should also not focus too much. Everything is not always about us. And I think that I always get into trouble when I push the ball to the court of the women. I like to stop here, please.
Thank you so much. The next honorary, please.
Thank you very much. My first thanks to the organizers of this event for organizing it, and for the Center for Values in Leadership for honoring me as a former ambassador to the Netherlands. I left the Netherlands 20 years ago. And since then, I don't think anyone had seriously referred to what I did or whether I did the right thing or not. So this event is a particular joy for me because finally somebody is saying something about what I did. Secondly, I'm not a career diplomat. I almost feel like a fraud here. I'm a trained medical doctor, and that is my calling. But I got sidetracked after my father died into politics. And then when politics wasn't working, I thought, okay, what best way to sustain his legacy? I co-founded the foundation. And it was from there that I was appointed ambassador. It was a Saturday afternoon. I remember very vividly. One of Papa's friends was ill in hospital. I was just getting ready to go to the hospital to go and visit him. And that day, even if I did not respect the intelligence community in Nigeria or in the presidency before then, I respected them on that day, because as I made to go out of my bedroom, my private telephone rang. That time we were still using landlines, and it was the telephone in my bedroom. And so I thought, yeah, this must be somebody that I know very well. I'll go and answer it. And it turned out to be the voice of Dr. Patrick Deleko, who had never spoken to me before. I know him, I know of him, I knew of him, but I had never had any dealings with him. And he said, hello, I'm Patrick Deleko, I'm calling from the presidency. My goodness. Who on earth would be calling me from the presidency? I said, I didn't say anything. I was stunned into silence. And he said, well, I'm calling to let you know that your name has come up as one of the nominees for ambassador of Nigeria. Wow. I did not know what to say. I said, well, okay, give me time. I have to consult with Mama, who was then out of the country. And then I'll get back to you. Somehow that consultation just took too long and I forgot all about it. But they obviously didn't forget, because then I traveled, and it was while I was there that I heard that my name was announced as one of the ambassadors elect. Now, my emotions ran the gamut through joy, pride, and then terror. Terror because I had no idea what would be waiting for me. I knew nobody in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, not a single person. But in the end, I went. And I went with three things, because your question is, what was my experience? First of all, I went with God, with my faith that, okay, Lord, you brought this my way. I'm relying on you to see me through. And I was a member of a church that took this appointment almost as an appointment of the church. That's the Archbishop Vining Memorial Church Cathedral, because they all started praying and they did everything, all the societies, and they prayed. So I went with God. Secondly, I thought my job was cut out for me, because at that time, Nigeria's reputation was in the pits. So I knew that I had to do something, and I had to spend most of my time working on that, making sure that I could reposition the reputation of Nigeria. Unfortunately, that year, my first year in 2000, was the 40th anniversary of Nigeria's independence. So I seized that opportunity to organize a week-long program of activities, which included an economic forum, cultural, the lady Nike Arts, Nike Okundaye, she was invited. We invited Sonny Ade and his band. We invited the Fashion Designers Association of Nigeria. They came in large numbers, and they showcased their wares in Rotterdam, in Amsterdam, everywhere. So I did all of that. So I knew I had to do something to put Nigeria back on the map. Thirdly, I went with a name, because even though I'm a doctor, I did it all on my own. I built a career on my own. My greatest reputation is that I'm the daughter of Chief Awolowo. I don't mind. Everyone forgets that I ever did anything for myself, but it's okay. It's okay. So I knew I was carrying that name, a name that millions of people think belong to them, actually. They claim it. And seriously, they claim it, and they would fight me, and they would fight anybody that dared to tarnish that name. So I know that I have no right to do anything that would disappoint those millions of people out there. So, and then finally, I had myself to report to every night. At the end of the day, I could look at myself in the mirror, review the day. What did you do today? Did you achieve anything? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? And at the end of each day, I wanted to be able to say, okay, you got it mostly right. And then I could sleep at night. Most of all, since I left, I could look back and still sleep at night. In the knowledge that I gave everything I had to the task, absolutely everything. I had nothing more in me that I could give, that I would have given, that I didn't give. So those were my landmarks. Those were my pointers. And apart from that, I went into a group of female ambassadors. It was a very powerful little group. The ambassador of the United States was female. The ambassador of the United Kingdom was female. The ambassador of Canada was female. The ambassador of India was female. The ambassador of Oman, the ambassador of Yemen, the ambassador of Poland. I mean, it was just a powerful little group, and we encouraged each other and made fun of our male counterparts who spent most of their time on the golf course and, just generally enjoying themselves. We were the ones that were driven. We were the ones that were giving lectures, were invited to give lectures, to receive books on behalf of our continent. I mean, when we wanted to choose a chairman for the African group at the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, it was unanimous. It was the men that nominated me. There was no contest at all. So I had that group, and we had fun as well. We worked very hard and we had fun. The ambassador of India, her name was Shamala. She was like my mama, because anytime I entered an event, she would look me up and down. You haven't changed your jewelry today. Why do you use the same jewelry every time? why must you use the same jewelry every time? You must change your jewelry. You must. So it was fun. It was a lot of work, and there were challenges. As an outsider, so to speak, I brought new ideas and new methods of doing things. For example, I was very, very prudent, frugal about spending money. I think some of my colleagues will remember that there were times when there wasn't enough money to spend in the embassy. But you then bring your experience from home into this, and you prioritize the children's school fees, getting them to school, the vehicle that would take them to school, and everything else would take to backstage. And I just tried my best to make sure that life was easier for the Nigerians that lived there. I did a lot of consular, I made a lot of changes in the consular section and so on. So it was a great deal of work. It was a learning curve, a very steep one, but I enjoyed it, and it has served me well for the rest of my life up to now. So I must say a public thank you to the President Obasanjo, who appointed me at the time, gave me the opportunity on the world stage. And the people I met in the Netherlands have never forgotten. They continue to praise what I did. They continue to relate to me very well. And it's just a portion of my life that I will forever be grateful for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start by thanking the Center for Values and Leadership, as well as this colloquium on women in diplomacy. We have listened attentively to our experiences and especially the challenges. I must say that initially there were challenges in the ministry, but once the basics were gotten right, that means no discrimination on the part of administration, where women could enjoy the same privileges and allowances as the female counterparts. The problem with that was resolved, because before, when we got there, we didn't have that. We had to struggle for it. And it was the government of President Shehu Shagari that actually resolved that issue, when we had Professor Ishaya Audu and Chief Patrick Boloko, and I think Dr. Ali Baba. They were the ones who made sure that our conditions of service were more or less the same as the men's, because we never had that. If you were, at that time, when we got in, as female officers, you go on posting and you're treated as a single. And while your male counterpart gets everything, married rates, the children's school fees were paid and things like that. You mentioned for those who were married, how did they? Some of them chose to go and marry. I was married and I was not going to suffer. So I did not go, I chose not to go on posting. I was at headquarters till those regulations were, done away with. And it didn't bother me because I had my husband and I was having my kids. Why should I leave all of them? And I was not exactly too too keen on going to live abroad, maybe because I had opportunities to have lived abroad before I got to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So it wasn't a big thing for me, but it was not easy. And I know that before us, a lot of female officers had to actually transfer to the home service because of the discriminatory practices in the foreign service. But that was resolved in 1979. Between 79 and 80, we protested, and the government of Shehu Shagari actually looked into them and made sure that all those discriminatory practices regarding payment of allowances, children's school fees, and all the rest of it, the diplomatic passports, were all resolved. Having settled, now I think there is no issue at that. I think now everybody gets the same. You don't even talk of married rate, or you just get the same. They call it consolidated. I left the service about 15 years ago, so I really don't know, but I think we don't have issues with that. On the practice of the the work, I didn't have too many difficulties, partly because I was fairly grounded, because if you work hard, they do appreciate that you work hard. My two colleagues here have testified to that. And but on the level of the consular, we had issues. And I remember when I went to Kingston, it's not a big country, but it's also a very difficult country. And they look up to Nigeria. People, Nigerians, they're not as many then in Jamaica as they are now. And they will come for either their visa or passport or something. And get some little officers trying to feel they are big and wanting to say, come back tomorrow. It's like somebody coming from Ibadan, or let's say Oshogo, or maybe Jos or something, and coming. And instead of you dealing with the issue, you say you should come back with all it implies, and have to really tell my officers that, look, anybody that comes, you must treat them and you must solve their problems. And when somebody, Mr. Biola said emotional, what do you call it? Emotional intelligence. I wasn't too aggressive, but I did put my foot down that anybody that comes for anything regarding consular services, they must handle them properly. And that, once that was settled, we did it. My relations with the home authority, with the post authorities, there was not, it didn't pose too many problems. In fact, they like Nigeria so much that my other colleagues, who are mostly, let me see, I think I was the only female high commissioner or ambassador. Anytime we went to parties, and they were always having, Jamaicans, they're always having social events. They will say, oh, once we stay with Florentina, we're sure to appear in the papers tomorrow. Because I was always, going there with my, Nigerian attire, which they liked, and, so I had a good time. And I didn't have too much issue with my colleagues, my junior colleagues. There was no issue of who is the boss. And we also had some other countries to which we are accredited. We have concurrent accreditation to Belize, which is also a small country in the Mexican area. And we had Haiti and Dominican Republic. We didn't have any issues at all. So it was a peaceful, once the issue of the consular matter was resolved, and the Jamaicans were receptive, they wanted to deal with Nigerians, so I didn't have any problem. After I retired, I worked at the Gulf of Guinea Commission, and that you have an international staff. It's not a Nigerian outfit, and there, of course, you have issues, but we know where the power lies. We know who the boss was, and we deal more with presidents and foreign ministers, and then we deal also with issues relating to security in the region. So again, one or two officers try to, these ones are not even Nigerians. They try to be, I don't know, for want of a better word, funny, or try to, pull some things, and I just put there, I say, you don't know where I'm coming from. I mean, if you know where I was, how I was brought up, and what bottles I have, you won't even try. You know, so there was not an issue. The issue we had were different. I mean, payment, as the ambassador mentioned, payment of contributions, and getting the member states to do what they're supposed to do. Those were the issues we battled with, not issues of you're a woman, you're not a woman. And our host government was very, very cooperating, and I didn't have any difficulty in performing my job as the Executive Secretary of the Gulf of Guinea Commission. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I think we have come to the end of the discussion. And I just want to say this because that some of these statements, I would say some of these points that actually inspired me because and I've never been this kind of forum where I have women all through professionals, ambassadors, and all that. I think this is my first time, so I think I'm honored to be standing before you this afternoon. Like Doctor, you said, you made some points here that the best way to advance a country is to build the capacity of women. Do we agree with that? Good. You also said that women need to believe in themselves. And that is where I became so much interested because I have girls. I have girls all through. And most times I ask myself, I say, why girls all through? You know, but now I'm inspired because my daughter came out that about just 2 weeks ago with first class. And I was just thinking, why is just that I made a mistake? I would have brought her here to listen to you people so that you can as well mentor her. You see, sometimes when we have them around us like this, especially in this kind of forum, they get inspired. They start thinking, you know, and start having a kind of direction that will prepare them to successfully cope with ever-changing economic realities. I must say today that I'm inspired to build their capacity. Thank you very much. For Ambassador Gladys, it's also unfortunate we couldn't hear clearly, but I think she made few contributions here. And to the first female ambassador, okay, representative, right? Okay, permanent representative, I want to say a big thank you for coming in here. Your testimony also encouraged me, and that also inspired me as well. And you said that women should look up and not to look down. I want to thank you, Madam Doctor, for your wisdom in taking the professional steps to moderate and to take, to do what is needful for this program. Thank you so much. As we come to the end of this discussion, I want to just take a few comments from participants. If you have questions or comments, just 3 persons, I think we'll be done with it. Okay.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I would say mommies and grandpas and grandmas. And I want to say I ride on the existing protocol, Your Excellencies. I really appreciate the privilege and the opportunity to be in your midst here today. I was highly inspired by every one of you. And to really show my appreciation, that's why I said grandpas, grandmas, I really appreciate you all. All right, so I was really touched by everything that you have spoken about, and Your Excellency, the Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa Fabright. I want to say that to lend some credence to what you have said and to really say that I was really blessed by what you have said about women. We should get done over with just whining and complaining and locking ourselves up in the room and complaining, and which is one of the things that I have done in my life. I'm a legal practitioner, and presently I'm leveraging on the emerging tech space. And 2010, when I was called to the Nigerian bar, I recall the following year I married and came to Lagos. And I was quite clueless, very naive about what the world outside there held for me, because I didn't understand the place of mentorship. And I was just there. I felt while I was in the university that once I'm done with the school, with my law school, life is good. I'll just get the best law firm to work in. And when I'm ready, I get married, give birth to my children, and I'm riding the kind of cars I want, and I'm touching lives because I was really passionate about empowering others. And then I came out, it wasn't so. And life hit me. And I came to Lagos. I was so new in Lagos, and I was just looking. At some point, I heard someone saying one day they needed a lawyer. And I couldn't even tell them that I was a lawyer. I didn't even have that confidence, nothing. And it was good. I recall my mates were telling me, Debbie, when she gets out, by the way, my name is Deborah Enyonewuni. And so when she gets out, she will make it. She's very good. She's bright. And I saw that nothing like that it wasn't aligning. And so I still didn't realize the need and the place for mentorship. And in the legal space, at some point, to the memory of the late Justice Kayode Esho, I went to their primary school in Ibadan because I grew up there. And Grandpa Esho promised me that I was going to get a space in a good law firm here, which he did perfectly, gave me a note himself. And I came to Lagos. I went there and I made the shock of my life. It wasn't long I presented that letter in that 2010 when Grandpa Esho died. And then I didn't even hear anything again from the law firm. And so I started submitting CVs. My husband, of course, very supportive. He would have been here with me today, but he will do the school runs today. I have 3 girls. And so, yes, he's always supportive. When he needs to do, we do that. And so I started submitting CVs around. Sorry, please, I'll just try to summarize. And then I'll come to the island. We were staying in a very backward place in Lagos, Ejigbo. Then now I'm on the island, thanks to God. And then I will come from there. I will dress up, carry 2 shoes, my heels, and then my slippers and all that, come to the island, submit CVs all over. And I didn't get anything. And at some point I was like, is this how I'll continue then? Before you know, I took him for my first baby. And when I get to most of those law firms, they tell me, you are a woman. By the time it's 6 o'clock and we can see that you're pregnant now, you start thinking of your baby, your husband, your house and all that. So we can't take you now. A couple of them told me that. Big firms, small ones and all that. And then I went back. I said, okay, my husband was like, start your private practice. I said, okay. Then I started using my house as the address and all that. I was privileged to meet the Leonard Silk, Femi Falano. And I told him I was using my house. He said, wow, that's where the rest of us started. You are doing well. And so I kept on. It was a lot of hustling and bustling. And in between, I gave birth to my first child. Sometimes I go with her to the courts. And then I had this cousin that was staying with me. She would stay outside, hold the baby because I would do my 6 months exclusive. I mean, I wasn't complaining. I was trying hard. I would freelance for seniors and everything. And then it dawned on me when I got into the emerging tech space, technology and all that, I saw how good it was. And that was fast forward to 2018. And I saw that, I could really integrate my life, my work life, my family and everything together. So it wasn't a matter of balance and one is tilting and the rest of it. And so I decided to create the platform, a virtual platform where I started mentoring the young law undergraduates, females, because I didn't know what was going to entail when I came out. So from that lessons, not even knowing that pregnancy was also going to change me and everything. So I will call industry experts, women and men, and also to learn from what you have said, Your Excellency, Ma. You did say there's a need for important partnership, and that was what I did. Then I didn't even know there was a need for it. But I had that leading by God, and I reached out to men. And I must say, of course, industry experts, those that were up there that we could learn from. So as I'm teaching the young ones, I was also learning. And so they were so receptive. And I recall that the number of men that were so supportive and are still supportive of this, my platform, are so much more than the women. And so women, when we have that space, she did say that we owe ourselves to excel in the position that we are. And please, when you excel, try to carry the younger ones along. Now, that community of the Hilton Top Solicitors female virtual internship, because my law firm is Hilton Top Solicitors. And so I use the platform as a female virtual internship for ladies, and over 1,000 ladies, young women from over all the universities in Nigeria and few across Nigeria have been a beneficiary of this platform with various industry experts. So I mean, the testimonies, the feedback, they tell me, oh, ma, we are really surprised why you are doing this. I mean, women really, we don't get to see, and they tell me what some of their experiences with other law firms that they get to want to tell them, oh, you want to intern in this firm, we want to sleep with you, want to do these different stories that I really cannot say. These are based on facts that they send me testimonies, they call me and pour blessings and prayers. Now, this is not to take too much. Like I said, it is in collaboration with all these men, partnership with them, that they believe that, oh, this is a good cause. And I've had most of them sending me mails and telling me, most of these seniors, not just lawyers, but from different industries. I had to bring Ambassador Arikana from the US at some point. In fact, she was one of the pioneer speakers in 2020 when this program started. So I leverage on this industry experts from across the various sectors, especially focusing on the women participation on law and the intersection of it with the emerging technology. And it's been so great. So please, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And of course, not that, if not that the schools have resumed, usually I carry my girls along there, like my logo, especially my first child who just clocked 11, because I love for her to be mentored by, great industry experts of grandpas and grandmas and excellencies that we aspire to be. Thank you so much. And I really love you.
Thank you. Okay, please, just a few minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm the baby of the house here. So good afternoon, mommy and daddies. My name is Bukola Diogo, and pardon me, please, I'm a very shy person and I'm not used to public speaking. Okay, so my name is Bukola Diogo, and I'm so humbled and privileged to be here today. My question is to my mommies and grandma there, and also to the panelists as well. Okay, so one thing I want to go back with today, with the caliber of people in this room, is the power of networking. For me, mentoring is a way of life for me, and that's a thanks to my mother. She's a woman who single-handedly raised 7 amazing children. And we are all, through the struggles, we are all graduates by God's grace, even though I literally sent myself through school. Yeah, for Muslim. I don't want to go into details, but I just want to throw these questions to mommy, because I come from a society whereby you have to get what you want yourself. There is nothing like silver spoon or on a platter of gold. And I'm coming from a community whereby I have a foundation called SLY. SLY simply means someone like you. And I tell my community, my women and young girls, I advocate for young girls and women from abuse, single mothers, and all of that, that no matter who you are, what you do, or what you're going through, no matter your challenges, your difficulties, there is someone like you out there. So you just have to keep hope alive. Now, my question is this: how can someone like me or people like myself, because I know quite a young women, a lot of them doing amazing things, but they don't even get to see the limelight. They don't even get this recognition. And I believe CVL is all about leadership, service, appreciations, and all that. How can someone like me access quality networking that can impact lives? I'm a fashion entrepreneur. I train, I facilitate, and all that. I teach. At least since 2016, I've trained over 4,000 women and young girls for free. This year alone, I've trained more than 500. And these are things that comes from, it's not like I get money to do it anywhere. I still do this thing from my own business, because I told myself, I went into fashion. I'm a graduate of economics, by the way, from Lagos State University. But I told myself, going through what I went through in life, I don't think it will be good to see young girls go through things. And I think clothing is an essential need in life. Because if it's not about being properly dressed or not, no one can afford to go naked. It's beyond abuse. And I felt going through these things, even if it's just to teach people for free, if you can just make, if everybody can make something for themselves, it's enough savings of cost and financial aspect. So I feel like, to the grassroots, how can our mommies, how can everybody here support those at the grassroots level? Like he said, Mr. Abiola said, which I keyed into, that this room is meant to be filled with young girls, which I believe. I was only privileged to be here because someone I met recently, coincidentally, we were just talking at American Corner. I went for a training, and he said, oh my God, you're so inspired. Like I'm so inspired by your contribution to this discussion. There's a program coming up, and I would like you to represent me. I'm actually representing Mr. Abishalom. So, and I said, oh, no problem. It's not as if it's convenient for me, but I said, I will come. And that's why I'm here today. And I'm so glad I'm here. Like, once again, my question is this, because I believe they say your network is your net worth. And women, youths, like he said, people can't be here because they didn't have access to information, which is one thing I try to do with my community, promoting quality information. I help women get access to funding. I mentor them on funding. I teach them on business plan writing, pitch deck, pitching, and all that. Like, I basically just help women move from here to here, move from where they are to where they want to be. So they can't be here because this is not out there. It's not circulated. It's more like what we call in-house opportunity. In the circular industry, there are what we call in-house opportunities. You get some things are going on, and you're like, how did you get this thing? How did you know of this thing? Is we. But people like us who are there at the bottom, how do we assess tangible opportunities that would impact not just one life, but generations? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Quickly, let's take the top person, and is no other person but Ambassador Eniola Ajayi online. Can we get their contributions, please?
Good
Ambassador
afternoon.
Eniola Ajayi.
Yes. Can you hear me, please? Good afternoon. Please, can you hear me?
So we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Eniola Ajayi. I'm the current ambassador to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. I'm also, by the grace of God, the current chairperson of the newly established FGN Women Ambassadors Network. I thought it would be remiss of me not to say a few words about our trailblazers and our women in diplomacy. People have gone ahead of us, and in my own case, I have someone sitting in this room, Dr. Dosumo, who was also on this seat I'm sitting on today 20 years ago. So this call is to acknowledge all the things you have done to lay the foundation before us. First, as the first permanent rep of Nigeria, first female permanent rep, and even all that you've done over the years and you're still doing. So it's just to say kudos to you. I acknowledge all that you have done, all the efforts you have made, and to assure you that those of us coming behind you, we're building on those legacies. And very soon, me too, I'll be a former ambassador, because all the ambassadors of Nigeria have just been recalled. So I just want to say I wish you well, and I look forward to collaborating with our women ambassadors to advance the cause of women generally, and to thank this organization for putting this together so that we can at least showcase our women that are in leadership and have done great things or are still doing great things. I'm sincerely grateful to you all, the participants. I say God bless you, and may Nigeria succeed. Thank you.
go into the presentation before we come back to the questions or to answer those questions raised some few minutes ago. Because of the exigency of time, I want us to quickly, because I see. Quickly, I want to call on High Excellency Ambassador Adiza Mustafa, the former High Commissioner of Nigeria to Cameroon. Please, Madam, can you come forward? And to present this award is Malam Mohammed Hayatuddin. Is a man of many parts, chairman of several organizations, and he's here to, we want on this podium to please present this award to Ambassador.
Again, my name is Mohammed Hayatuddin of no particular address. And it gives me a singular honor and pleasure to present this award from the Center for Values and Leadership to Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa, one of our most distinguished female ambassadors.
Thank you very much, sir. And please, friends, relations, just join them quickly, please. Quickly, let's just do that. Thank you very much. Next we have is Ambassador Florentina Adenike Okonga. Please step forward, ma'am. And to present the award, we call on Dr. Boniface Chizie, a top-notch economic business development consultant, to make this presentation. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Coincidentally, Nick and I worship in the same parish. And so I thought I was going to present to Dr. Dosunmu, but it's a pleasure. You know, I know ourselves very well. I know that she's an excellent woman. You know, when you celebrated her 75th birthday, I was one of the participants. You know, so I took some pictures, which we circulated. So you've done very well. I think that you still have some more years ahead of you. So don't retire. You know, what I was going to say is that I think the ambassadors, those of you who have been, you know, gone through the process, and you are now sitting back, you must have some network. We talked about network. You have a network where you have a voice. You can have a strong voice, and things are not doing very well. You know, so you can make an input, and you can organize yourself in such a way that your voice will be strong. So we heard that embassies overseas sometimes they have issues with funding, you know, things like that. So you can have a voice. So congratulations and blessings. God blessings. Thank you.
Family and friends, please join them quickly. Family and friends. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Next, we have Ambassador Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosumu. Please come forward, ma'am. And to make this presentation is Olori Dr. Onikokpo Akande, CON, former Minister of Industry, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please come forward, ma'am.
Before I do the presentation, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here. Ambassador Dr. Tukumbo Awolowo Dosumu invited me to be here. And I visited her when she was ambassador to Netherlands. I was a member of the presidential delegation that visited her. And I was quite impressed with what she was doing in Netherlands. We are always proud of you, madam. And also, when we have programs like this, we don't have very many men when we are honoring women, but this is an exception. There are a lot of men, and I want you to help me to congratulate them, to honor them, because we cannot be talking to ourselves. We need them. We need their support in whatever we do. And this is why I really appreciate the men here today. Thank you very much. And another point, sorry, please, next time when we do things like this, have more younger people, because the younger lady asked some questions, which I would have liked to respond to, but I'm not a panelist and I'm not an honoree. So I will leave that to the people to answer. But please, next time, let them come, the young people. I believe in young people, the young shall grow. Mentorship. And we show them the way to get to the top. Thank you very much. Now, having said this, now let me perform the role that I've been asked to do. I'll be itching to talk, but you didn't call me. And I'm a familiar face here. I have attended so many, and he didn't call me. Thank you. On behalf of the Center on behalf of CVL, I present this award to you, madam. Award of Excellence to an exceptional leader. You are a great leader. You've taught many lives in many positive ways. Your life has been that of service and honor. Congratulations, madam.
Quickly, family and friends. Okay, we can split it into two, please. We can come in badges. Let's just have the first set, then the next set, others will join. Nobody wants to leave. Okay, we can still have it, no problem. Yes, okay, some persons can be behind. Some persons can stay behind. But your faces will not show, that I just said. Please, can we have all the recipients to come forward for the cutting of the cake? Cutting of cake and toast. Please come forward with your plaques. Yeah, the honorees with the plaques, please come forward. I'll call them. All the recipients, please come forward. Okay, because of time, please, let's just have the cutting of the cake and toast. The honorees, please come forward. We'll have enough time for photographs, please. Please come with your plaques. No, come with it, please. And to join them, please, let's have the moderator. Yeah. They want to take first. Yeah. Yes. Let them take first. Nice one. No, they're still taking photograph with it. Yes, the panelists and the moderator will join them, please. Please join them. Please join them. Let them have it. Let them have it, please. No, let them photograph with it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. You have a presentation? Okay, fine. Okay. So they have presentation for them. They want to make presentation. Please toast. Let's do the toast quickly. Okay, let's just have the toast. What do we use now as ambassadors, excellencies, excellencies? What do you think would be the right word for you? Because I'm thinking on the right word to use now for you. Reese right. Ambassadors, Amazons. Oh, wow. These are the Amazons of our time. And the Amazons are known as the women warriors of our time. So the Amazons is fine, okay? Fine, let's go. Can we have, do we spell the Amazons? 1, 2, go. A, M, A, Z, O, S, S, Amazons. Thank you very much. To hello, for she's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us, hooray. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. Please, ma, there's a presentation for you, the three of you, and it's to be done by Dr. Abiola. Please step forward.
Once again, congratulations. We run a platform called the Peak Performer, And based on our interest in women, we have what we call the peak performing women, where we mentor and we celebrate women as well. And we have a book that we'll be presenting to you today, our own way of saying thank you. Say thank you to you. So I'd like to start with Ambassador Adenike Konga. You're not clapping. Thank you. Thank you very much for your service, man. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, there are two books. We talked about emotional intelligence the other time, so we're adding that to it as well. The Magic of Emotional Intelligence. Thank you. Thank you. And of course, Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa. Yes. Congratulations and thank you very much for your service, madam. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. And the very woman that told us that, yes, she studied medicine. She did everything on her own, but she knows she's carrying a name. Ambassador Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Congratulations, man. And she wasn't an honoree today, but we have always celebrated her incredible contributions. And she was even the one that presented to an honoree today. So please permit me, please sit down, please. Thank you. Please permit me as we welcome the one and only, I call her Sweet Mama, Onikepo Akonde. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ellen, you have tributes, so you have to say something for any of them. I just wanted to call your name. So before you say that, I don't want to call you again, and I don't want to be fined. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I cannot complain. I asked for it, and he's obeying it. Thank you. It is my pleasure to be here. I'm going to give, because I know all of them, I'm going to give tribute for all of them. Or do you want me to give to one person? Yes, because I know them. It is my pleasure to be here to really rejoice with these special women, the honorees, the great achievers in our country. They are women that the younger people will like to look up to. I have known most of them for many years. My namesake, Nike Okonga, I've known you. I forgot to stand up when they were calling your friends. I thought because you didn't invite me anyway. So you are a great achiever. I've known you for many years, and I've always been very proud of you. You know, I've always loved to be an ambassador because I like the glamour side of it. Anything they do in the foreign affairs and they invite me, I never say no. I'm always there. I've visited them on trade missions and everything, and she's always there for me. My friend, thank you very much. And Ambassador Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu is a great woman. I've had opportunity to work closely with her on many projects. In fact, we are working on something right now. She's the chairman of our group, Odua Foundation, and I'm a member. And you can see the leadership qualities
the way she promotes the foundation. We are always very proud of you, madam. Very extremely proud of you. And like I said, when you were in Netherlands, and there was an opportunity for me to go to Netherlands with the president, President Obasanjo. In fact, I'm a member of his presidential library. So when I was opportune, I quickly accepted. And my friend, the ambassador, was so nice to me. There weren't too many of us, but she was extremely nice because I know her. I know her. I knew her parents and I know her husband. I know everything about her. So, it was like me just being in my own house. Madam, we are proud of you. Well done. Congratulations. And Ambassador Adiza Mustafa, lovely woman. I was trying to remember where I met her. Now I remember. And she said, I know you too. I said, thank you. Because, I like to know women who are great achievers because I always support women. I am devoting my life to supporting women because, thank you. I come from a family, my parents don't have male children. We're only four girls. And they gave us confidence. And what I'm seeing is that these women are role models. They are trailblazers. Women should have confidence in themselves. Like my dear young man, Abiola said, courage. A lot of women, when they are asked to do things, they will say, am I good enough? Will I succeed? Look at fear in the ugly face and barge ahead. And you will definitely succeed. And also, you have to mentor young people. My motto when I was at Queen's is that pass on the touch. You have to mentor young people. And this is why I said, next time, even if they have small school children, bring them. I always insist that we have the young people so that they can learn from us. They see what we are doing to get to the top. And the young lady that said, how will she get to the top? Next time you hear about conferences and meetings of this nature, attend, sit up front and ask questions. See how these leaders made it to the top. And by the grace of God, you will get there. So what else do you want me to say? Congratulations. Well done. Sylvia, invite me again and I will honor you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olori. Please, a better hand of applause to her. She has done so well today, and I love her as a person. Why I was very careful was that she would not hit me again like she did the earlier time. So I was extremely careful. So please, I want us to run a short documentary of these recipients. They are amazing women. Women I see to be spotless and beatable character. I respect them and I honor you today, honestly. My first time meeting you, I've heard so much about you. Mrs. Awolowo, there was a time I had a conference, there was a conference there. Okay, Dosumo. Yeah, okay, yeah, fine. Sorry about that. There was a time I attended a conference in Abuja, and then I was nominated to go to United Nations Convention Against Corruption in Russia. That was in St. Petersburg. I heard so much about you when someone was telling me about you, the former ambassador to Russia. That time that talked about you then. No, he was telling me about her. We're in Russia then. So I want us to quickly run that documentary so that we forge ahead because of time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
wanted to be a doctor. I never wanted to be anything else. Quite why I don't know. But through the grace of God, I was able to achieve my ambition. I then practiced for a while, did a postgraduate in occupational medicine, and got pulled into quasi-political activities through my nomination into the Constituent Assembly in 1988. That was after my father's death in 1987. I then played several roles in the emerging politics of the time. But partisan politics didn't work for me. So, and I still wanted to promote and propagate my father's legacy. So the Obafemi Foundation became an obvious vehicle through which I could do that. And the foundation was set up in 1992. That was where I was when I was appointed ambassador to the Netherlands in 1999. And I was ambassador to the Netherlands until mid-2003, when I left to return to my profession as a doctor. And I worked as a doctor until 2012, thereabouts. Because of family issues.
Sorry, my sincere apology because of time. Because of time, we don't need to cut it. We have it just quick, like we just pause now. Sorry for that. Thank you very much. The next conflict.
My name is First Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa. I was born and bred in Jamaica in Adamawa State. I studied political science in Bayo University, Kano. I attended the National War College, Nigeria, now called National Defense College. I obtained my second degree in strategic studies in the University of Ibadan. I joined the Nigerian Foreign Service in 1982 and was appointed the first female High Commissioner to Cameroon in 2012. Before that, I also served in many of our embassies in the United Kingdom, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, and in the United States. After I retired from the Foreign Service, I went to the African Union Commission to serve as the special as the advisor of the chairperson of the commission on peace, security, and governance. Currently, I'm assisting the special envoy of the Chad Basin Commission to Chad as the special advisor. In short, that's that. Yes, I am a proud mother of one daughter, Jamila Mustafa. I think I'm great. That's me. Okay, so let me start by saying how grateful I am to God for the life I have. I can say that God has blessed me in many ways. My life has been quite easy. You can see that I'm a classical example of someone who has risen from grass to grace. A good example as well of
good education, what good education can do to change one's life.
Let's go.
I am Florentina Adenike Konga, new Adenike. I was born 77 years ago in Lagos. My parents, my father was a civil servant and my mother was a school teacher. I'm the fourth child of 10 children. I did my primary education at the Mary Convent School in Lagos. My secondary schooling was at Holy Child College, Lagos, and my university was at the University of Lagos, Lagos also. I also had the opportunity of doing my master's at the University of Montreal in Canada and part of some courses at the University of Pittsburgh and University of Minnesota. I'm married to somebody from Edo State, late Dario Konga, and I have 5 children. I would say that it was after my secondary school when I thought I was going to work and actually started working. And I had a scholarship from my school. It was given by the USAID, and it was to be carried out at the University of Louvain in the then Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo now. It was called Congo Leopoldville at that time, and that was in 1967. So, I went. I didn't expect it, it just came. My principal thought I was a very brilliant student, and I was not in a position to continue with my education at that time. So I was doing my A-level at home.
I don't want to ask you, but that you want to know you to go to YouTube page and watch, download and watch it fully. Then you do more and more CPL. You go to YouTube page and you can download it
fully. Thank you very much. At the same time, I want to call on persons who feel it's very necessary to say 1 or 2 things as regards the recipients. I don't know, Doctor, if you have, Madam, I don't know if you have, I don't know, my ambassador, I don't know if you have something to say briefly so that we can just go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to keep you back with what I have to say, but I just wanted to tell the young people, unfortunately, they are not here. And forgive me if I appear to be preaching. When I mean young people, people who are just going to start get into the business world. Okay. Forgive me if I appear to be preaching, but there is an appointed place for everybody, and there is an appointed time. Everything I got, I kept saying that I had a smooth ride. That was because I was always guided. When you are in the appointed place at the appointed time, everything will work for you. I told you that in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, if anybody says I'm a specialist, I'll say there's no specialist here, you do everything. But somehow, right from my level 10, I went in the same line because I was led there. And the Lord always told me, I believe it's the Lord, focus on your assignment, focus. And I never saw anything as a post. I saw everything as assignment. So I'm busy thinking of how to do it. And that was because I knew every time that I was at the right place. So for everyone, I would like to say, always find out where is the right place, when is the right time, and everything will be all right. And just to say 3 things, when it was being, the gentleman was
the moderator was rounding up. He said, I said, look up and not look down. Again, I want to say, don't be over assertive. Authority is behind you. And the third one I want to say is there is an appointed place, an appointed time for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lowry, please, you have something to say.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying congratulations to my auntie, Dr. Mrs. Tokumbo Awolowo Dosmu, to Ambassador Adenike Ukonga, and to Ambassador Hadiza Mustafa. To all of us who are here today, I think it's a very good outing. Never mind the rain that is rumbling outside. I like to say that I'm here wearing two caps. One, I'm here representing the former governor of Ogun State, Chief Olusegun Oshoba. And I'm also here representing myself. Having said that, I have listened very, very carefully to all that has been said. I'm also see an old sister of mine, Ambassador Laoshe. Yes. Don't worry, we will talk about that one, family matter later. Dr. Bonnie, we go way, way, way back. Okay. There is one thing that I haven't heard here today, and that has to do with the documentation of experience. There is a long list of retired ambassadors who have published books. You have Olushanu, Audacity on the Bound, Olujimi Jolaosho, In the Shadows, Dakwa Fafora, Lest I Forget, Godwin Onyegbula, Nigerian Biafra bureaucrat, Emeka Yoku, The Inside Story of the Commonwealth, Joseph Mamangaba, The Time Has Come, Jolly Yusuf, That We May Be One, and of course, Ambassador Femi George, From Rookie to Mandarin, Memoirs of a Second Generation Diplomat. These are just some of the titles. I haven't seen anyone written by a retired female ambassador. And I think it's coming. Beautiful, beautiful. So that is my charge, that we want to hear your experiences. We want the wider world to share in what you learned, what you did. And I think there's no better way of encouraging the younger ones than to read success stories, to read about the challenges, the pitfalls, and of course, the successes. Already today has been a success. I congratulate everybody who is here to witness the event. And I wish the younger ones good luck as they also climb up the ladder and shatter the, what is what again? Glass ceiling. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank those online who are viewing online, all over the world. I just want to say that with this meeting today, I believe they must have learned a lot from these Amazons. And I believe that everyone here seated here today must have also gotten one or two things to take home for their children, because they made mention of having young people, maybe subsequent ones. And I also want to ask, I want to make a request to Professor Patutomi, entire CVL team, to ensure that the subsequent event that has to do with women, younger women, need to be here in full. If we need to mobilize, let's do that. So that they can learn and also do a lot of exploits when they are out to do what they need to do in their various fields. I want to thank you because I'll be calling the CEO of CVL to come on board shortly. But before COO of CVN, and before that, I also want to say that for the fact that you have come and for the fact that we have celebrated you and still celebrating you, I strongly believe that for your sake, every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. I believe that the glory of God shall be revealed for your sake, and all men and women shall see together. This has always been my hope, and is still my hope for you. I want to call on Mr. Dele, please, to come, the COO of CVL, person of Mr. Dele Fanimo, the Executive Director of CVL. Thank you very much.
My dear mummies, I want to stand on existing protocol because I have one or two things to say that may probably deviate from, because a lot has been said to assist me in thanking everybody that came today to witness this occasion, particularly the honorees. Ambassador Laoshe said something and I keyed into it. She said, there is time for where and time for time. That's time and where. They are dictated by God. And I want to make an example of myself. When I came in here and I saw my Oga, Dr. Latunji, former MD of Nigerian Tribune, my colleague who was me at the governor's office in the 90s as correspondent in Ibadan, Dr. Lasisi Lagunju, and also my friend, Dr. Lade in the Sunday Tribune. I said, I'm at home. They were just asking, what's your problem? What are you doing here? I said, when I came to join this organization last month, I thought I was just coming to do administrative job. I never knew I was coming to school. Now I see I have come to a school different from my trade. I've been a journalist for over 3 decades, but today I'm here as an administrator and learning from the feet of these Amazons and subsequent one that will come. It shows that this is my time here at this place, CVL. I want to thank God for giving us this day. Yes, there have been drizzles, and thank God. Maybe it's a blessing for us that the fuel subsidy had been removed. Probably some of us wouldn't have gotten to this place on time because of traffic. So, so for every event, there would always be the good and the bad side. So for us here, fuel subsidy has helped us to make sure the traffic is not much so that you could get here on time. I want to thank you, Ma, for honoring our invitation. And particularly, I see you most often on television and I read about you, particularly in Tribune. But today I'm seeing you live and direct. Thank you so much for honoring us. Mami Konga, you're welcome. Thank you so much. And Ambassador Adiza, thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And to the moderator, thank you so much. At a point, you almost gave me a heartache when you are saying you may not be able to come because of certain things, but at last you are here. Thank you so much for coming. Ambassador Laoshe, thank you so much for your words of wisdom, and we hope to, in the years to come, to tap from your wealth of experience. And Doctor, thank you so much. I know you are a motivational speaker, and let me quickly use this opportunity to ask for an autograph of that book. At least in the presence of everybody, so that you won't deny me when I drop the microphone. Thank you so much for coming. And to our guests, the participants, we have taken your counsel that we should invite the younger generation when we're having this kind of program. Yes, we actually did initially, but then when I looked at the stature of these people that are coming, I don't know how to manage this small space when I have about 60 students coming to this event. So I said, maybe subsequent events like this, we will have to get a larger hall so that we can accommodate those young ones, because they need to also learn from you. And that is exactly what we will do next time when we want to organize this. So pardon us for not enlarging this hall. And unfortunately, I'm not an architect, so I couldn't have been able to expand the hall. Thank you so much for coming. And for my Oga, I want to thank you especially. It's been over 15 years that I saw you last, and God has really enlarged your coast, even as a pastor. And and to other colleagues in the media, I want to thank you for coming, for honoring us. And everybody, particularly the young ones, I heard them talking about their fears, their concerns, and I'm sure some of those concerns and fears had been addressed here. And I know you are taking one or two things away from here that would serve you in good stead. Finally, I want to ask of you, mommies, I would have asked if I had the opportunity of asking, because I'm a journalist, I would always ask questions, but maybe for another day. If you are dressed like this and there is no foundation, no decking, no roof, and you're as beautiful as it in your 70s, I wonder how you will be in your 30s, in your 20s, when we were whistling behind your fence to take you out, when daddies were whistling behind your fence to take you out, when you were scaling fence to go to disco. So Ambassador Adiza said no way for her. Then daddy must have been very strict and a good monitor. Thank you so much, Ma. And I know I have a lot of things to say, but let me just use the microphone so that you can go early and beat the traffic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As we draw the curtain, someone led by the Spirit of God Almighty to lead us with the closing prayer. Let me confirm that, please, before I make a mistake. Okay, we have pastor here, but let me confirm 1 minute. Thank you. The tradition here is once the vote of thanks is taken, that ends the event. I want to thank you all once again for coming. And I want to also say a big thank you for Our Excellencies. It's did a great privilege to stand before you this day. And this day will never go out of memory. I want to thank everyone, the former ambassador, Mama. Thank you for scolding me and also align with me. I want to thank our doctors in the house. I appreciate you for coming. KBC, the high chiefs, and everyone. I also want to thank you. So we end this day. Thank you very much.